Hello, I am Nina Garcia, and I am delighted to join you all virtually. As I'm sure many of you know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and every year around this time, I reflect on my own experience that has led me to be here speaking with you today. I was drawn to supporting the Alliance in Reconstructive Surgery Foundation because of my own experience. In 2015, I discovered that I had a gene mutation that put me at high risk for breast cancer. After years of closely monitoring my condition under the care of excellent doctors, I made one of the most important decisions I've ever had to make: to undergo a preventative double mastectomy. I decided to have reconstructive surgery on the same day. It was exhausting and recovery was hard, but I felt fortunate to have had doctors who gave me the best care and made clear what my options were. Unfortunately, not every woman has the same access that I did. Hopefully, with the help of the AiRS Foundation, this can begin to change. Unfortunately, I do have family history of breast cancer, as my sister had breast cancer. However, she tested negative for the BRCA gene. Through the years, I have seen many friends go through testing, surgeries, and been diagnosed. In a way, it felt like I was surrounded by the disease. In 2015, I decided to take control and get tested. As it turns out, I have a mutation to the BRCA1 gene, which interacts with the BRCA gene. There's always a sense of relief in finding out results, but a real fear also sets in. It was daunting, really, to know that I had a gene mutation that put me at higher risk for breast cancer. And over the years, I was able to be monitored, get regular mammograms and breast checks. However, during this time, I had numerous biopsies, 2 lumpectomies, and countless follow-ups. It was almost like I was living in a loop of testing, and I would wake up many mornings thinking, is today the day that I am going to get a breast cancer diagnosis? The decision to get a preventative double mastectomy was a deeply personal decision, and one that I took after thinking about it for many years. There is no real moment when I was like, well, this is why I was going to do it. It is something that I felt for my family and for myself was the right decision, but I cannot say it is the right decision for every woman. Following my decision to undergo surgery, I started to feel incredibly, obviously, nervous, anxious, but also isolated. And I didn't realize that I had been feeling that way for a long time. As I went from test to test, I was surprised also that I was feeling that way, because I know that my husband and my sons were especially supportive and loving throughout the whole process. But it wasn't until I reached out to a friend of mine who also had a preventative mastectomy, and another who connected me with friends of hers who'd been through that process, that I found this wonderful community of strong women who wanted to help and share their stories and support me. And for the very first time in years, a dark cloud lifted, and I sensed a relief and clarity about my choice. And for that very reason, I wanted to share my story with everybody else. And sharing my stories, I mean, women that I knew reached out, friends that I had not seen in many years reached out, and women that I didn't even know reached out to me. So by then, I felt like I had a real community of women that had my back. And this community of women really walked me through the process every single minute of the way. So when I went into that operating room, I felt I can do this. And that is why I want to share my story with everybody else. I feel I have been so lucky to have friends, family, and colleagues who have been incredibly supportive throughout my entire journey. From the moment that I found out that I had a gene mutation to after my recovery from surgery, I think I really, when I shared the story with everybody, what I was going through, I thought, you know, a lot of women that I knew came out and reached out to me. Even women that I had never met reached out to me. By the time that I went into that operation, I felt like I had an entire community of women that were cheering on for me. So it was really incredibly helpful. Unfortunately, breast cancer affects still too many women. I am incredibly grateful that science, research, technology make early detection possible. But early detection is not possible if you don't get a mammogram. You have to go and get tested. I also think that if you have a family history of breast cancer, I urge you to take the genetic testing because it will give you some insights in what are your chances of developing cancer or not. It is my hope that the research continues to move the needle forward towards a cure, and that research and education can continue to help those women who are going through it. Yes, breast reconstruction played a huge part in my healing process. Even when, before the surgery, I knew there was going to be a good outcome. I trusted my doctors, I listened to them, and I think, like I've said before, technology is so advanced that they really can, you know, with a good surgeon, you can really have a very good outcome. And that good outcome gave me a lot of self-confidence. The AiRS Foundation's mission speaks to me as an immigrant from Colombia, knowing all too well there are so many women in Colombia and around the world who have no access to mammograms, and they're unnecessarily dying from breast cancer. Women who do not have the same access to top medical professionals like we do, or to insurance, and that are not provided the same resources and education about early prevention and options. The AiRS Foundation has been really incredible in helping women who have lost their breast as a result of breast cancer. They have done an amazing job educating them on surgical options, assisting them with understanding health insurance, what kind of coverage they have or not, and ultimately assisting them with the cost of reconstructive surgery. I know how important options are when it comes to breast cancer, the BRCA gene and undergoing surgery, because I had those options.